الصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي بعده وعلى آله وصحبه من تمسك بسنته إلى يوم الدين وسلم تسليما كثيرا أما بعد. We continue April the 7th. It was April the 7th, right? April the 7th, 2019, Sunday, 4:20 p.m., which agrees with the 2nd of Sha'ban. The 2nd of Sha'ban, which is the year 1440 after the migration of the Prophet ﷺ. We were talking about the some of the different ishkalat, if you want to say, the different problems that some of our sisters face during the month of Ramadan, especially in regards to their ments. Well, alhamdulillah, we almost completed what I wanted to discuss. For the most part, alhamdulillah, the sisters have a good understanding and foundation about the affairs that are connected with the menstruation of the woman, or do you want to say the postnatal bleeding of the woman, especially how it affects the sisters in regards to the worship of Allah, which is the month of Ramadan. The month of Ramadan, as we know, is very, very blessed month, and I'm sure that the sisters would like to have knowledge in preparation to that particular ibadah or that worship that we're going to embark upon soon, inshallah. The question I wanted to ask the sisters, just to test them to see where they are, is there was a sister in for example, in the 8th month of a woman's pregnancy. The 8th month of her pregnancy. So keep in mind the number. I'm just giving an example. The 8th month of a woman's pregnancy. It so happened during the trimester of her pregnancy, which is the 8th month of her trimester, agreed with Ramadan. Just to say, basically, she now has about, let's just say, how many days? Like approximately a month left. So now she's in the time of Ramadan. She's in the month of Ramadan while she's in this last stage of her pregnancy. So she started to see blood before she gave birth. She started to see blood before she gave birth. And during that period of time, she was still fasting and still praying. She was still fasting and she was still praying. Then, after 14 days, she gave birth. And this was in the month of Ramadan. And she did it in a way where she had what they call a C-section. It's a Syrian section. That blood that she seen, where she was praying and fasting, was it correct and was it valid of her prayer and her fast that she performed in those days? Was she seen blood or not? So that's the question. That's the first question. So basically, we want to sum it up and say, was her fast correct during the month of Ramadan where she seen blood? Where blood was coming out in that particular time, where that time frame, she seen blood. Was that blood enough for her to leave off? Matter of fact, we just keep it simple. She still prayed and fast. Was her prayer and her fast valid at that particular time or not? The sisters, they understand my question? Also, if you can, sister, keep in mind, I can't really hear. I'm in a whole nother room, so if there's no problem if you speak up or be a little bit boisterous than usual, because I'm in a whole nother room and I can't really hear. It wasn't or was? I'll say the question again. A woman in her she's in the 8th month of her pregnancy. Keep in mind the time frame. That agreed with the month of Ramadan. Now, alhamdulillah, she's pregnant last trimester of her pregnancy. She's about to have the baby soon. Allahu a'lam when, but we know it's coming soon. She started to see blood. That was before she gave birth. 14 days elapsed in Ramadan. Then she gave birth. So, 14 days before she gave birth, she seen blood. 14 days before she gave birth. That blood, number one, is it hayd or istihada? Or is it blood or is it a hemorrhage? Is it mens or is it a hemorrhage? Which one is it? 14 days before she gave pregnancy. Before she gave birth. Jade. It's a hemorrhage. Why? Jade. Due to the fact that usually we don't consider it nifas or postnatal bleeding unless it's either maybe a day or 2 days before she gives birth, and it usually she has the signs, what they call contractions. Right? The contractions is usually the key to knowing that, of course, she's about to give birth. If she sees blood in this time frame, a day or 2 days before she gives birth, then we know that blood is postnatal bleeding, even though she didn't give birth yet. But once the signs come, for example, she sees blood, and she's feeling contractions. The contractions are there. It's a day or 2 days before she gives birth. Then we know that blood is considered postnatal bleeding. Just to remind our sisters, we know postnatal bleeding is just like a mens. Has the same ahkam, has the same ruling, which is what, sisters, that if a woman is on her mens and a woman is on, or she has postnatal bleeding, then it's obligatory upon her to leave off the prayer and siyam, and fasting. Right, everyone? Jayyid. And other ahkam, as far as the other thing, we'll just keep it so. Those are the two matters. That if a woman is on her mens, she has postnatal bleeding after the pregnancy or 2 days before the pregnancy, and she sees blood, we know that's called postnatal bleeding. Type. Let's just say 5 days or 6 days. Or this example here, 14 days. She's seen blood. That blood here, we say it's nothing. Don't consider it to be anything. And she would still continue to pray and continue to fast if she wanted to. But usually women in that part of her pregnancy, usually women don't fast. They find a great difficulty. But she would just stick to her prayer. But there are some women out there, I've heard stories of women that they will fast while they're pregnant. I've heard it. Women they have some very strong bodies. MashaAllah, Allah has blessed them with some genetics that are crazy. Some good genetics. And they're very strong in their bodies. And they'll fast. But, like we said, usually some women in that stage in their pregnancy, especially in the 8th month, they'll leave off fasting. But we do say that blood, if they see it in that particular time or in that moment, then she can still fast and she can still pray. Jade, I'll ask sisters another question. Firstly, there was a woman that took pills to prevent her mens, so she wouldn't be on her mens during the month of Ramadan. So number one, the question we want to ask, is it permissible to take these pills? For example, to stop her mens or to maybe put it off for another time. Is it permissible? Or does it have some details in it? It says permissible. Fine. The sisters say it's permissible. For one thing, you'll find that Ahl-Ilm say in this regard, they say that a lot of these pills, these medical pills, that prevent a woman's pregnancy, that prevent a woman's mens, they advise that they should leave it off, especially if it comes out the side effects where it will damage her womb or cause some type of damage to her reproductive organs. And also likewise, you'll find that they say they usually a lot of these different types of chemicals and pills that are utilized to prevent a woman's mens or to put it off. He says sometimes it'll even cause their ments to be irregular. They'll become irregular. Especially those different types of contraceptives that they use, especially now that they give to a lot of the young or the youth for the girls these days. He said they'll find out a lot of the side effects you'll find that they damage the womb of the mother, or damage or make her or render her ments to be irregular. If that's the case where it causes these type of side effects, that will damage her womb, or damage her health, or damage her womb or reproductive organs, then we say no. It'll be haram to take those type of pills. But if they know they have some natural herbs or remedies that are natural, and they know that there's no side effects to it, and it's not going to cause any harm upon their health, then of course, then we say that she can take them. As long as the side effects are not going to cause any damage to her body, or damage to her reproductive organs, or for example, it's going to throw off her what? The regularity of her ments. Is it clear, sisters? Is it clear? Yeah. طيب. Let's just say the opposite. Let's just say the opposite. What do I mean by that? What's the ruling in regards to now a woman who took something to make her ments regular, to be regulated, to regulate her ments? She took something that's the opposite. She took a medicine or a pill or some type of form of treatment to now regulate her ments. So what do we say about that? To regulate it. Is that permissible for one to do that? Sisters say yes. G. That's excellent answer. Like we said, with the conditions that it does not cause what? Does it cause harm to the body? Type, or cause harm to her health. It doesn't matter. If a woman now took medicine now to regulate her ments, to regulate it, let's just say, so basically she's the reason why her ments came on. A person might say, if due to that being the case, then that means I still have to fast, and I still have to what? I still have to pray, because I'm the one that caused my ments to come on. I took a pill or a medicine, I caused it. That's what one might think, but that's not the case. That's not the case. It doesn't matter whether a person caused it or not, if they took a pill or not. If the whole illah or the ahkam of a woman's ments all revolve around, as I discussed this last year, it revolves around whether or not the blood is there or not, whether you caused it or not. If the blood is there, the ahkam applies. The blood is not there, then it's similar to that, the ahkam applies. Is it clear what I'm saying, everyone? Doesn't matter whether or not you caused it. Doesn't matter. Even if you caused it, you took a pill or some herbs or what have you, and it helped regulate your ments. If you took a pill and you caused your ments now to come on, it doesn't matter. A woman still will have to leave off the prayer and will leave off fasting. Even if she's the one that took the pill and she's the one that caused her ments to what? Come on or not. Doesn't matter. Still, everything revolves around whether the blood is there or not. If the blood is there, if the ments is there, then the ruling in regards to a woman leaving off her prayer, her salat, her prayer, and her fasting, that it all is now coming to play or comes into practice. It doesn't matter. So that's what we say. Now I'm going to give an example. There was an example of a woman now. She caused her ments to come on. Before it's time, she took some medicine. It came on. Then, after that, after a period of time, the blood stopped. Matter Matter of fact, I'm going to do this question. Now, we could give this question. Jay. So now, she's the one that caused the blood to now her meds to come on. She took a pill or took some herbs or what have you. Because she noticed that her meds was off. It was irregular. Came on at different miscellaneous times, weird times. So a woman says, okay, I want my meds to be regulated. So she took some herbs or what have you. So now when she sees that the actual meds that it came on, it stopped. It came on, then it stopped after a period of time. I already gave the answer to this. I already gave the answer to that. It doesn't matter. I'll do it again. So this days that the woman here, she's the one that caused her meds to come on. And the blood now started to come out, and her menses became regulated. Even though she's the one that caused it, does she still leave off her prayer and leave off fasting or not? Even though she caused it. So one sister said, what? Yes. That is the correct answer. So it doesn't matter whether or not she caused it, or she took some medicine. So if she causes it, if the blood is there, then she will leave off the prayer and she will leave off fasting. Doesn't matter. G. I kind of already gave the answer. Fine. Another question. There's a woman. She was pregnant. I'll give a question. Just give her different examples. There's a sister now. She's pregnant. She got pregnant 2 months ago. 2 months ago. 2 months is how many, sisters? How many days? 60 days. Approximately 60 days. Some hijri now you can say is a baby 39. Could be, depending on the sight of the moon for different months. At any rate, for the most part, 60. So 60 days. So keep that in your mind. 2 months, 60 days. After this moment of time, a woman started seeing a hemorrhage coming out. And it continued for 3 days. Until the point where the doctors had to clean out her womb. Basically, there was a miscarriage. So we know that they do a procedure where they clean out the different parts of what was left of the embryo. They clean it out. They do a procedure what they call amaliyah tanzif rahim. They clean out the womb of the mother. So she came upon the morning. Now she basically sees blood. She sees blood. She leaves off fasting and she leaves off praying for 9 days, approximately, after this procedure. Then the blood has stopped. Right? Then she started seeing a little bit of yellowness, or discoloration or yellowness. Then she started to fast and pray. Now I must ask the sisters, the days that she left off her fasting and praying, was that correct, or was it incumbent upon her to fast and pray? Keep in mind, I gave you the key. 60 days. 2 months. Not months. This blood that was coming out of her, what is it? The first thing is first. When you hear this question, you have to ask, is it a mens or is it a hemorrhage? Which one is it? Sister said it's a hemorrhage. So if it's a hemorrhage, that means it was still incumbent upon her to what? What was she supposed to do? Jade. She was supposed to pray and fast. Excellent. Why though? Can anybody give me an answer? Why? Ahsant. The baby was not formed yet. We said that the most days in which a formation of the baby can manifest, we said, is 80. About 80 days. It takes for a formation of baby now to appear. Anything before those days is considered what? We consider that if the woman had a miscarriage, that blood that happened before the miscarriage, and that time, meaning before that 80 days, the blood that she sees is a hemorrhage. It's istihada. It's not immense. It's istihada. It's a hemorrhage. So in that case, she would still pray and she would still fast. She would still pray and she would still fast. Like, the discoloration, she still wouldn't consider that anything. The discoloration, she would not consider that to be anything. She still would fast and she still would pray. Taib. Taib, ask a sister another question. Does it now render a woman's fast invalid if some type of discoloration, meaning of yellowness or blood, it comes out for a pregnant woman? If a pregnant woman right now sees blood coming out, what does she do? If she sees discoloration, that might come out in the duration of the pregnancy, or in the midst of the pregnancy, she sees discoloration. She might see some yellowness. She might see some yellowness or kudra or sufra. She might see yellowness, spotting, blood within the midst of the pregnancy. Let's just say 5 months, 6 months in the pregnancy. What does she do? Does she still pray or does she still fast? What does she do? Some women still fast in the point of the month. Or let's just say prayer. Does she still, what is that blood that's coming out? What do we say? Based upon, she's in the 6th month of her pregnancy, she sees blood. She sees discoloration. What does she do? Does she still fast? Does she still pray? Or does she consider it immense? First thing, like we said, keep in mind the strategy. What type of blood is it? First, we need to look at, is this blood a hemorrhage or is this blood immense? Which one is it? We say it's considered what? Doesn't matter. It would be discharge, blood. I couldn't hear. I couldn't hear what she said. What she say? Jade. So basically you're saying that it's a what? It's blood. Is it considered something that's going to stop a woman from praying or fasting? Is it or isn't it? Jade. That's the answer. So she's in the midst of her pregnancy. Oh, you about to call you there. Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar. Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar. Shalom. I'll say the question again. Sister now becomes pregnant. She becomes pregnant. 4 months, or 4 months, which is approximately how many days? 110 days in a pregnancy. Like mysteriously or for some reason, some odd reason, she sees blood. Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter if it's discoloration, discharge, yellowness. It doesn't matter. In the midst of her pregnancy, let's say she reached the 4th month, 4th or the 5th. Just out of nowhere, she just starts seeing discoloration. What does she do? Does this blood now prevent her from prayer or fasting or not? We said that discoloration is not immense. It's considered istihada or hemorrhage, and that's it. G. Keep in mind another key point. Doesn't matter. If a woman, or if a sister, for example, has her mens, right? She has her mens, it's on time. Comes in its usual time, it stops. Let's just say 2 days later, she starts to see spotting or discoloration. Everyone with me? Fine. We had the hadith of Atiyah, where we discussed this last year. We said that during the time of the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that we never considered discharge or discoloration anything after purification. Right, everyone? After we became purified. After we became purified, for example, if a woman had her mens and it came on, it stopped. Then, let's just say, some days later, she started seeing discoloration or discharge or what have you. After purification. Here, this hadith right here, doesn't matter. If a woman sees discharge, discoloration, or yellowness, or what have you, after she became purified, then she does not consider it to be anything. She still would pray and she still would fast. Is it clear what I'm saying, everyone? We laid that foundation down. So now I'm going to ask the question. A sister, for example, had blood and it came along with yellowness or discoloration, and it wasn't in her normal time where she had her mens. Out of nowhere, it just happened. So this discharge that was coming out after she became purified, it lasted, let's just say, 15 days straight, 20 days straight. And despite of that, she fasted all those days. So now, does the sister have to make up her fast, or does she have to make it, Does the sister now consider that fast to be valid, or does she have to make it up? Those days during her discoloration, her discharge, after she became purified, she started fasting and praying. Those 20 days straight in Ramadan. That fast that she did, was it invalid or is it valid? Sister said it's valid. She's absolutely correct. So she had her mens. Those are the days when she left it off. Then, after it stopped, a day later, 2 days, she started seeing discoloration. She started seeing sufra, kudra, discoloration, yellowness, what have you. It lasted for 20 days straight. She started seeing discharge from time to time. So a woman is now saying, what do I do? What do I do? Here in this instance, we say again, she does not consider it to be anything. She still would pray, she still would fast based upon the hadith of Atiyah. That we never considered discoloration or discharge or yellowness after purification anything. Meaning that we continue to pray, we continue to fast and handle our other affairs or our domestic duties along with our husband to the end of it. Jayyid. Now I'm going to give another key answer. Another thing is, a thing that a lot of the sisters need to look at is the symptoms of her monthly cycle. A lot of women, alhamdulillah, they get the symptoms. Some women, or a lot of them, get the symptoms. They get, like we said, you get cramps, or they start to they start to become exhausted or craving. I think certain women, they crave sugar now or crave sweets or what have you, or to the end of it, and they start to get cramps. So just listen. He says, عن امرأة أتتها أعراض الدورة الشهرية. Question, good question. Now this is something that some sisters, and I want to teach you guys another key, another important matter to hold on to. Let's just say, in the month of Ramadan, you're fasting. Okay. The month you're fasting, right before the sun goes down, she starts to see a little bit of spotting. She sees a little bit of spotting, that's before Maghrib. She doesn't have any cramps, none of the symptoms. So she's thinking now, what do I do? Is this fast correct? Is it valid? Or is this my mens? What was it? Or do I have to make up this day? And it's not Maghrib yet, but she sees blood coming out of her now. She sees spotting. But she has no symptoms of a mens. She don't have cramps. She doesn't have any of these symptoms. Like, what do we say? What do we say here about what she should do? What should she do? Is her fast valid or she have to make up that day? Jade, sister said that it's valid. She's absolutely correct. All right, let's just say that same night, the same night, after Isha, the blood started now coming out. Like a whole lot of blood. Well, it's clear now. It's clear as the sun in the sky. It's not spotting, nothing. Now she starts to see the blood really flowing. Well, she has the absolute surety that this was a mens. Okay, now. Let me switch it up a bit. Matter of fact, let me switch it. Right, let's just say now, sisters. Let's just say, if a woman had istihada, I'm trying to give a good question where it can work your minds and your brains. Right. Let's just say that a woman now, during the month of Ramadan, still in the month of Ramadan, she's fasting all day. If I can switch it. She's fasting all day and she has her mens. She's fasting all day, she's on her mens. Just before Maghrib, an hour before Maghrib, the blood stops. Does she have to fast that particular day? Or she have to fast the remaining of that day? Does she or doesn't she? We would say no. That's the correct answer. The answer is no. Once a person starts off their day with not fasting, then we'll talk about the narration of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, what he said, Man aftara awwal an-nahar فَلْيُفْطِرْ آخِرَهُ. There's a narration of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud where he says, whoever broke their fast in the first part of the day, then let him what? Break at the last part. Meaning, due to a justifiable excuse from Kitab and Sunnah. That's what he's speaking about. He's not talking about a person just to break their fast. He's not speaking about that. He's talking about, for example, like a woman who has her mens. So it's not permissible for her to fast. It's not permissible for her to pray. It's not while she's on the mens. Taib. The first part of the day, she started off by breaking her fast, which necessitates that what? The last part of the time what is left, or the remainder of the day, that what? Then let her continue to what? Break it. So that means that she can still what? Eat, and she can what? Enjoy the rest of her day. She just have to now, after the month of Ramadan, she has to make that particular day up. Is it clear what I'm saying? Is it clear? G. طيب. We already asked that. طيب. A sister now. Let's just say 10 minutes before Maghrib came in. 10 minutes before Maghrib came in, let's just say she started to see a little bit of spotting. 5 minutes before Maghrib came in. 10 minutes before Maghrib came in. طيب. Once she sees this type of spotting, does she now, after the whole duration of the day that she fasted, all the way up to this point in time, does she have to now say that my fast is invalid because of this blood that I see? It's not flowing blood, it's just a little spotting. It's not blood that's flowing. It's just mere spotting. do we still say that this is a mens or it's not a mens? Spotting. She said, it's a mens or not? Or is it's something else? Is it hemorrhage? Is it a hayd or is it istihada? Which one? No. Her mens didn't come on yet. Some women don't have any symptoms. If you had the symptoms, let's just say even if she did have some of the symptoms, let's just say the cramp has started. A little bit of spot has started coming out. Just a little bit. But the blood did not flow. Nothing, it's not clear. It's not clear. What would she do in this instance? 5 minutes before Maghrib, or a half an hour before Maghrib. She just sees spotting. What did the sister say? What did she say? She said she has to fast, or she continues her fast? That's what she said? Jade. That's the right answer. Let's just say that the spotting came in because she's remained upon tahara until she has absolute surety that now she's taken out of that condition. Let's just say a half an hour after Maghrib, blood started coming out strong, started flowing profusely. She started seeing a lot of it. We still say her siyam was still what? Was still valid. Due to the fact that yaqeen is not removed by doubt, or surety is not removed by doubt. She had doubt, and on top of that, the blood did not start coming out profusely, where she had absolute surety that this is a mens. It's doubtful. What am I on? What is this? Tayyib. So that's the reason why we say that if a woman did this all the way up to this time, her fast is still valid. After Maghrib, when she's seeing the blood, when the blood is now actually flowing, where it's clear, then that's when she knows she's absolutely on her mens. It's clear. Jade. Good. Mumtaz. Tayyib. Another question. So Ramadan, a woman is in month of Ramadan. She just had a baby. She just had a healthy born baby. So now we know absolutely for sure that blood that's coming out is what sisters? That's postnatal. It's postnatal bleeding, right? It's clear? Tayyib. 5 days after the pregnancy. 5 days after the pregnancy, the blood stopped. The postnatal bleeding stopped. It stopped completely. Tayyib. At postnatal bleeding that stopped, do she still now have to wait 40 days until she starts to fast and pray again, even though it stopped and she's purified? Or does she have to wait the duration of the 40 days, as they say? So what would she do? She start a prayer or what? Or start her fasting or what? What would she do? She start to pray and fast. Jade. So we know that the narrations that say that 40 days is the maximum days, that's not a prerequisite. It's not. That woman's mens or postnatal bleeding can stop before that. If it stops after the 5th day. Some women don't even get a postnatal bleeding after their pregnancy. There's women out there that don't have any at all. After they have their baby, 2 days, they're back to normal. Everything's regulated. Not as far as the healing of the womb. We're talking about as far as her mens, however. It becomes regulated very quickly. Certain women out there everything becomes regulated after 10 days. The postnatal bleeding stops. Some of it 15, some of it 20. Everybody's different. Type 40 days that you find in the narration, they say that's usually the maximum time that a woman should wait if she still has blood coming out. There's even certain women out there that postnatal bleeding can continue up to 60 days. There's certain women out there that like that. Even Ahl Ilm mentioned that. From the Ibn Uthaymeen, even Sheikh bin Baz, you'll find some of the fatwa they used to give that they said there has been found that women's postnatal bleeding can even exceed up to 60 days. There are women out there that like that. So what is the meaning of hadith for 40 days? 40 days means that's usually the approximate time of what the woman should exhaust as far as leaving off her salah or her prayer or what have you. It's usually an approximate time, but it's not for every single woman. Some women, like we said, stop after 10. Some women stop after 15. Some women stop their postnatal bleeding after their pregnancy at 20. So it's not a prerequisite that she waits 40 days, because I have heard some women, they'll actually wait 40 days. Like, I'm not going to have to pray. It's not 40 days up yet. No, that's not a prerequisite. If you become pure before that and the blood stops and you make a ghusl, khalas, you have to pray, you have to what? You have to fast. Is it clear what I'm saying, everyone? Is it clear? So 40 days is not a prerequisite, because I heard stories that sisters will actually wait that time, regardless. They said, well, I'll say, sister, if you're purified, you have to pray. No, it's not 40 days yet. After my pregnancy, 40 days has not been elapsed yet. No, you say, no, that's not a prerequisite. That meaning of that hadith is the usual approximate time of the time you exhaust it until you start to pray and fast, usually. But that's not an actual time for every individual sister. Like I said, you even find from some of Ahl Ilm say it exceeds up to 60. Up to 60, and that has happened. And that's a qawl of Imam al-Shafi'i. I don't want to go into that right now. But anyway, but that is to show that that's not a prerequisite. So a woman here in Ramadan, after she gave birth, 5 days, let's just say 5 days into Ramadan, she gave birth. The 5 days after her pregnancy, the blood stopped, postnatal bleeding stopped, everything stopped. She healed somewhat, alhamdulillah. And then at this point, then a woman now will have to pray, and she will have to fast. And it's not a prerequisite that she has to wait 40 days. It's not. Is it clear what I'm saying, everyone? Jade. Last thing I wanted to make a clarification, because someone, I don't know if they called someone else in regards to what I said last week. Alhamdulillah, for the most part, these are the things you have to deal with when you're trying to teach the people. In regards to the piercings of the earrings, because we got to stop and pray also. The piercings for the earrings. I said that the women can wear them. They can wear earrings in their ear, they can wear an earring in their nose, and they can wear earrings in certain parts of their body. Right? That is permissible. Whoever says it's not, that's on you. That is permissible. The evidence for that, it comes in Bukhari, where the Prophet ﷺ told the women to give sadaqah, to give charity. Give charity, because I've seen the majority of you in the hellfire. You'll find in that narration of Bukhari where the Prophet ﷺ said that the women started throwing akhras or aqrat. They started throwing earrings in the lap of Bilal, which is to show that the sahabiyat during the time of the Messenger of Allah, they used to wear earrings. They used to have piercings. And they started throwing their jewelry, and even certain narrations said their earrings. Jayid. So that establishes that a woman can wear earrings. Is with the condition that she does not display it to other than her husband and other to those who are her maharim, from her father, her brother, or her son, to the end of it. Jayid. Now, that's the first condition. The first condition is that she does not manifest it to other than her maharim, meaning her husband, father, whatever. Jayid. Now the question comes. Alhamdulillah, I did a little bit more research on this. Fine. So now the question comes, because some people say, no, this mutilation is resembling the kuffar. Jayid, that's true. If now the mutilation or some type of display agrees with something that the kuffar are specified with, such as the people of Persia, their religion, they used to wear piercings all on their faces, for example. That's impermissible. Like, for example, they will hang 100 earrings in one earlobe, or 50 rings all lined up in one earlobe, or they will do that, and they'll put piercings all over their face. That's from their ways and their customs, which they're known for. If a person does that, then that's what we're talking about is impermissible, and that is mutilation, and that is what we're talking about. Or for example, you know, in certain areas, of course, they'll put it all on their body. They'll put like 100 earrings on different parts of their body. Piercing on their leg, they got 20 piercings across their chest. If it's in that regard, where they took it now to that extent and that level, that is the mutilation of which certain people was telling me about. That's impermissible. But for a woman now to just have an earring in her ear, one earring here on the other earlobe, and an earring in her nose, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. And even certain parts, yes, even if she wants to wear one earring, of course, in certain places, as long with the condition, it's not from those affairs that the people of wathaniya, of polytheism, or disbelief, or evil, or fisk, that's their shi'ar. That's something that they are known for, that they stand out for, where that makes them distinguished by it. Like, this is what we do, and if they're known by it, then do not do it. It's haram. Like I just gave an example, like the people of Persia. They used to wear piercings all over their faces, everywhere. Head, eyes, nose, everywhere. They used to wear piercings everywhere. And it looked extremely weird. Extremely weird. If that's the case, then no, it's not permissible. But in regards to as far as when a woman wearing an earring here, earring on her ear here, an earring here, or what have you, or their nose, there's nothing wrong with that. A little earring right there and there, there's nothing wrong with that. And that is what? That is what's correct. And that's what I wanted to give the extra details on. As long as they don't manifest that beauty, like we said, to other her maharim, and as long as it doesn't reach the level of what the new non-Muslims are known for, meaning that's what they utilize in order to stand out. But we know that earrings in a woman's ear, that's something that all women do, that's part of their decoration. And that's not something that just the kuffar are known for, as far as just putting one earring on the earlobe here and another earring on the earlobe here on the other side of the ear. That's something that non-Muslims and the women and Muslim women do, where we know that's part of femininity. That's part of their being feminine. And there's nothing wrong with that. As far as the men wearing it, then we absolutely know for sure that that is impermissible, due to the fact that we know that that is a feminine quality that every woman shares in, whether it be Muslim or non-Muslim, that is known for a woman to wear earrings. And that's part of displaying femininity and part of showing her being a woman and being feminine. Is it clear what I'm saying, everyone? Is it clear? Because someone asked me that question and I wanted to ask them. Excuse me. Somebody asked me that question, I wanted to answer them. So we'll stop here, inshallah. But anything else, brothers and sisters, please, do not go behind my back and asking questions to other students of knowledge to try to make one statement of another student of knowledge hit mine or mine's hit his. Do not do that. That's not good manners. If a person has something in their mind, come to me as a man and just say to me, AbdurRazzaaq or so-and-so, you might, so-and-so, do a little bit more deep research. I think there's some more details in it. That's it. It's done. But as far as calling another student of knowledge, so-and-so student of knowledge did such and such, what you think about that? If you're trying to utilize my statement to make dalab of his statement or something to make dalab of his actions, it's not befitting. Stop trying to cause fitna amongst people. Just ask. Just cause and ask, and we'll answer you. It's that simple. Is there any other questions? Is there anything else about the lesson? Brothers and sisters, is there anything left? طيب هذا وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك